teachers. Okay, you're doing really great with your yoga workshop. You finally narrowed down some of the ideas in your head and you've landed on an awesome workshop idea. You've created a title that's going to really solve a problem for your students. And I bet you're really ready to start creating the content, right? Hold up. You're not quite there yet. There's still several more steps that I want you to plan before you get to the creating of your content. I know that you're eager. I know you're really ready to just start putting together this awesome workshop, but you don't have to have the whole workshop done before you plan out these details. And I promise you, planning out these details now is going to help you sell that workshop better and faster. You're going to get more people in that workshop, and you're not going to create a bunch of content that no one's going to want. So stick with me. Let's pick your workshop structure. Okay, how do you want to actually deliver your content? What is your workshop structure? This is far more important than creating the content right now, because you may realize halfway through that you want to change up the whole structure of your workshop. So you really need to choose the structure of your workshop and how you want to deliver your content. Now, there's 3 popular ways that I've used for my workshops. I'm sure that there's a lot of other ways that you can offer workshops that are out there. I just don't know of them right now. So I want you to share with me in our Yoga Teacher Talk Facebook group, what are some of the ways that you've seen workshops offered? What are some of the ways that you've participated or maybe even hosted workshops in the past? So today I'm going to just share with you the 3 most popular structures that I've used and I've participated in, along with their pros and cons. Now, first and probably the most popular structure I see is offering a workshop for a few hours as a one-day event. This is probably what you were thinking of doing. Now, this event could last anywhere from 2 hours to 6 hours, is just an estimate. Only you can determine the length of the workshop. You may be thinking, well, I don't know how long my workshop would be. 2 hours seems like forever. 2 hours goes so fast, I promise. You may think it sounds like a long time, but whenever we actually start putting together our content, you'll see how quickly 2 hours will take. Remember whenever you started teaching yoga and you thought, how am I ever going to teach an hour-long class? And now you're probably like, oh my gosh, I have so many ideas. I could teach for an hour and a half. It's the same with workshops. 2 hours seems like a really short time, or 2 hours seems like a long time, but it will go fast. So choose which time length that you want if you want to offer this one day, couple hour workshop. Now, pros of this structure. You're able to offer a lot of information in a pretty short period of time. And it's nice because people only have to invest 2 to 4 hours or 2 to 6 hours of their day. It's a much easier sell. You can also keep your workshop a little bit cheaper with this structure because you know it's only going to be 2 to 6 hours of your time. This is a really, really great option for beginners. And I want to encourage you, if you're putting together your very first workshop, choose this structure for right now. So that way you can start to move out of your comfort zone and learn exactly how those time management skills work. Offering a shorter workshop, just 2 hours, will let you see how much information you can realistically cover in 2 to 6 hours. It's going to be less stressful for you too. So if you're a beginning workshopper, start with this structure, okay? Now, cons of this structure. You're probably going to be limited to weekends. And it's going to be, like a Saturday at 2 p.m. You have to work around the schedule of the yoga studio where you're going to be hosting this event. You also can't really offer a yoga workshop on Wednesday at 2 p.m. People are at work. They're not willing to take off at 2 p.m. Now, I have done workshops, like a 2-hour workshop on Monday at 7, or I guess I kind of worked with the studio, and we did Monday at 5:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. There was an extra room available, so I was able to host it during the week. That worked pretty well. And I actually had quite a few people in that one-time workshop. So you can work with the studio if you want to do something during the week. But your most popular time is probably going to be on a weekend, especially if the studio only has one room available. You're going to have to do something on the weekend. That's not bad. Weekends are really a great time for people to attend your workshops. It's just how much weekend time do you want to be spending doing workshops? Now, I want to tell you right now, you're probably like, oh my gosh, well, I don't know what's the best time and day to offer a workshop. I'll try and cover that in a later blog, but I'm going to let you know right now, there is no perfect time. Someone will always have something going on. We live busy lives. There's not a perfect time that every single one of your students is going to be able to attend. So get that idea out of your head. Do what's going to work best for your schedule and what will work best for the studio, and then kind of talk to your students and see what will work best for them. But it's really hard to work with everyone's schedule. I can just promise you, you're never going to make everyone happy. So, all right. Now, I want to go back. So that's the first way to offer your workshop, is maybe on a weekend as like a large block of time. The second way to offer a workshop is to do a full weekend workshop. This can be intimidating for new new workshop presenters. And this can actually kind of take several forms. Now, maybe you want to go really in depth and you want to do 6 hours on Saturday and 6 hours Sunday. So you have a lot of time and you're really able to dive deep into the information. That's a 12-hour workshop. That's an awesome workshop. I've also seen teachers do 3 hours on a Saturday and 3 hours on a Sunday. That's only 6 hours, but keep in mind that this is still a full weekend workshop because you're asking for 2 days of time. So keep that in mind when you're trying to determine if you want to do a full weekend workshop. A full weekend workshop is really intense, and it's an awesome way to dive in deep with your students. But if you're a new workshopper, it may be too overwhelming or intimidating for you. So pros of this workshop type, you can dive really, really deep into the information. I also really like this type of workshop because you can create a really big experience. Maybe you want to go to a fancy retreat center. You can kind of dress it up a little bit more and offer meals. You can make it really experiential for the participant, which is really, really nice. So I really like offering these types of workshops, but lots of cons to them. First, it can cost a lot of money for the students. You're investing a lot more time, and so they're going to have to pay a lot more as well. They may not be willing to pay. You need to really develop a lot of good content to hold their attention for a long period of time. People will also have to dedicate quite a bit of time. Are they willing to take a full weekend out of their schedule? You want to think about some of the logistics. Let's say that someone can only attend one day. Are you going to allow them to? What does that price look like? Or is it a requirement to attend both days? I mean, there's just a lot more logistical questions that have to be answered. So if you're a beginner, I don't think you should start by offering a full weekend workshop. If you've been offering workshops for a long period of time and you have quite a good following and you want to start offering more in-depth knowledge, more experiences for your students, maybe test out a retreat type setting, then a weekend workshop is a really great way to start. And I would encourage you to think about doing a full weekend workshop. I personally have participated in several weekend workshops that were absolutely incredible. I left each one feeling absolutely refreshed, revitalized, full of ideas and inspiration. And I've hosted weekend workshops where the students were able to really dive deep into their practice and their self-inquiry work in a way that would have been impossible in just 2 to 4 hours. However, it was also one of the hardest workshops for me to fill, and it required a lot of time prepping, organizing, planning, and marketing. I was also a lot more limited in my locations because I had to find a studio or an event center that was available for a longer duration. So weekend workshops are a great option if you're an experienced workshopper. Maybe a little bit harder if you're just starting out. Now, one of the ways that I have found to bridge this big experience with a little bit shorter time frame is through series. This is actually now my personal favorite way to offer workshops. I love doing workshop series. With a workshop series, we meet once a week for 4 to 6 to 8 to 12 weeks, just depends on how long I want to spend. And we meet for about an hour to, I actually like to make these classes a little longer. We'll meet for 75 minutes to 90 minutes. And we meet at the same time every single week, and it kind of feels like a basic yoga class. So people can easily schedule it into their schedule. What I really love about this style of workshop is with a little bit longer class time, like 90 minutes, we're able to have time to chat. We're able to talk about what happened the week before and really work on integrating the knowledge. I can provide a little bit of knowledge plus the experience of a yoga class. Then they can go home. I send them home with some handouts so they can work on their own. They come back and again, we discuss, how did it go this last week? What did you notice? What were some of the things that came up? We can really integrate the knowledge and we can work on it for a full week and then come back with questions, share our experiences, share wherever we are in our journey. I love this type of workshop because we get that deep experience, we get that depth of knowledge, but it doesn't require a full weekend. It just requires the time for almost a normal yoga class. I also personally like it because I can typically, not always, offer these types of class series during the week. I do a lot of yoga teacher trainings on the weekends, so whenever I have a weekend off, I try not to fill it with a workshop because it's a precious weekend off. But I can do class series during the week on a Wednesday or Thursday night. Typically, I am a little bit more limited in my location. I can't do them just wherever. I have to find a studio that has an extra room available. So it is a little bit more limiting. But if I can work with that studio and they have an extra room available, I'm able to use that room and offer it just like a regular class. So cons of that type of workshop is there is always people usually do have to miss 1 or 2 classes, and you'll have to determine, is it okay for them to miss 1 or 2 classes? I always say, yeah, that's fine. I'll still send you the handouts. Cons of this type of workshop as well is, again, it takes a lot of time to develop that type of content because I'm working on a class. It's just a much deeper depth of knowledge, but I'm also able to dive really, really deep with them. The pros for me in this type of workshop outweigh the cons. I get to offer it during the week. We get the depth of knowledge, we get the experience, and we get to stretch and extend it over a time period. This also means that people can typically work it into their life, and we can build a solid community in 6 to 8 to 12 weeks. So that's one of my favorite ways to offer workshops. Now, next, we're going to talk about the location of your workshop, because once you determine your structure, that's going to really help determine your location, what's available for you. So think about your structure of workshop. What are you thinking of hosting? Are you wanting to do just a short one day or a few hours? Do you want to do a full weekend? Or are you thinking maybe of a class series? Let me know what your experiences are. Have you taken any workshops that have been different, that you've been able, or a different type of structure? I would love to hear your comments, your feedback, your suggestions, and your brainstorming ideas in the Yoga Teacher Talk Facebook page. So please join us there. Can't wait to see y'all in there.